2 out of 3 e-commerce businesses fail within the first 12 months. And the number one reason for that is they don't have a plan on how they're going to grow successfully. Let's think about it this way. If you need to go somewhere that you've never been before, you're going to read a map, you're going to get a guide so you can get there safely. The same applies to an e-commerce business. You set a goal and you need to put in a roadmap of how to hit that goal. This roadmap needs to consist of 3 things. 1, an action plan month by month, exactly what you need to do. 2, a way to validate that those actions are going to give you the results that you want. And 3, a way to track whether or not what you're doing is actually working. This is exactly what I've done to grow e-commerce brands to hundreds of millions of dollars, and it works every single time. So in this video, I want to give you this roadmap and I want to teach you exactly how to use it and apply it to your e-commerce business. Together we'll go through 3 things: how to build out the roadmap together, how to come up with actions that are actually going to give you a result, and then how to track those results. And to get started, I've linked the roadmap below, so download that, print it off, and let's get working on this together. To build out a plan, we need to understand the areas of the business that we have to focus on. And this is where the e-com operating system comes in. I'll take you through how it works. No matter what size an e-commerce business is, these 4 pillars remain the same. And they're the 4 sort of key pillars of the business. So whether or not you're working in all of these pillars or you have team members, it still applies. Now, the first pillar is, where are we going to get our traffic from? Traffic is the people that come to your website. Now, the second thing is when we do get them there, how are we going to get them to convert to us? Okay, how are we going to get conversions? The third part is, when we do get them to come and buy from us, how do we get them to come back again? And this is where retention comes into play. And if we do get them to come back, the final piece of the puzzle is we then want to scale the business. So to have a successful and scalable e-commerce business, we need to be working on traffic. We need to be working on our conversions. We need to be ensuring that people are coming back so that we can then scale our business. Now, it's all well and good to say this, but how do we measure that this is actually working? Well, each of these pillars is aligned to a metric, an outcome, so we can tell whether or not we're driving traffic, converting, scaling, or retaining. Now, the metrics that we like to measure, for traffic, it's really simple. How many sessions are we getting to the site? For conversion rate, super simple. What's our conversion rate? Pretty easy. For retention, we want to measure what our lifetime value is from our customers. How much are they actually spending with us? And from a scale perspective, we want to understand, how do we improve our profitability in our business? Now, by knowing these metrics, we can then run a calculation to work out what our revenue is going to be, because our revenue is actually just an output of these metrics, and these metrics are inputs. So let's input those metrics. What we want to be doing is we want to be increasing the amount of sessions we have. We times that by the amount of people that convert with us. We times that by the amount they spend with us, and that equals the amount of revenue we make. Okay? And that is our goal, is we want to increase the revenue number here. So to increase the revenue number, we just need to increase the value of the inputs. So what this plan is going to get you to do is increasing the amount of sessions you get. We want to increase the conversion rate, and we want to increase our LTV. Now that we know this, we can use the roadmap to start to build out a plan to increase each of these metrics. So I get you to go to the next part of this workbook. If we go here, we can see a yearly roadmap. Now, it's really simple and really straightforward. We don't want to overcomplicate it, make it too detailed. It needs to be simple to understand and easy to execute. So the way we do it is we break our calendar up into quarters. So we have Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. Just a little bit easier to block it into these chunks. And then what we do is we break up every quarter into each of these pillars. So we've got traffic, conversion, we have retention, and we have scale. Now, by doing it this way, it means that we can evenly work on things in a balance. If we roll back here to our e-commerce operating system, if this is out of balance and we're working on the wrong areas, the business is not going to grow in the right way. So if all we're doing is working on traffic and not thinking about conversion rates, then the business is going to fall over. Same applies if all we're thinking about is retention and not thinking about getting new traffic in. We're keeping people, we're not adding new people into it. So a really successful e-commerce business focuses on all these pillars evenly and holistically throughout the year, which is why we build it out into our roadmap. So over on the roadmap here, what I want you to do is start thinking about in every quarter, what activities are we going to do to grow our business? So if we think about traffic, think about what you're doing now and what you're not doing. So what are the things you can add to your traffic pipeline? So possibly you're not doing Google ads. Okay, let's add in Google ads here. Maybe you're not doing email marketing. Or maybe you are, but you're just not sending enough emails. And maybe we could be doing more social posts. So would it be true that if we did these things additionally during this period, that our traffic would go up? Of course it would. Okay, we're adding more activities into our pipeline. So now let's do the same thing for conversions. In this quarter, what are some things we can do to improve conversions? Well, maybe we could add reviews if you don't have reviews. And I do want to apologize, my writing is exceptionally messy today. All right, let's do this one again, add reviews. Maybe we could do a comparison chart. And maybe we could do something like product videos, okay? All of these things are gonna help your conversion rate go up, okay? So would it be true that if we do this correctly, we should see an increase in conversion rate? Okay, we do the 3 things for traffic, the 3 things for sessions, our metrics are gonna go up. Let's pump into the next one. Now we wanna think about our retention. What do we need to do to increase the amount of people that come back? What are some activities you might be able to do? Maybe we could run a win-back campaign. Okay, maybe we could launch a new product that could be complementary. Maybe we could launch subscriptions. Okay, I'm gonna ask you again, would it be true that if we did those things, we increased our retention, increased our conversion rate, increased our sessions, our revenue would go up? Absolutely. So now let's move into scale. Now scale sort of is 2 things. We talk a little bit about it being profit, but it's also about fulfillment and working out where else we can sell things, okay? If we want to scale, we want to take the model that we have and we want to replicate it in other areas. So possibly we could sell in new markets. We might want to sell into a new country, would be a way that we could sell it. Now what about a way to say improve our profits? We could review expenses. Okay, have a think about the things that are going to help you scale your business from an operational point of view. Can we sell more things into different markets? Can we use new channels? Can we reduce our expenses? Okay, so we want to go through this and see what it is that we can reduce our expenses, improve our operations when it comes to scale. Now, would it be true that if we did that, that's going to reduce our costs, but it's going to make sure that our revenue goes up at the other end? Okay, so what I want you to do now is spend some time, okay? Feel free to pause this video and come back to it. Spend some time. And I want you to go through from one quarter to the next quarter, to the next quarter, to the next quarter, and fill out your roadmap. Now, what you'll see here is I'm not putting lots of things in each quarter, because if we sum this up now, that's around 11 to 12 different activities. Now, one quarter goes for a few months, but we can only do so much in that month. We don't want to be doing everything at once. So I only want you to think about doing 2 to 3 things per pillar so that we can make sure we actually get it done. Because there's no point having a full list of things to do and actually never getting them done. Try and put things in here that are actually achievable. And if you don't think you can do it in that quarter, move it to the next one, then move it to the next one, and move it to the next one. So the idea is we have a really clear, actionable plan that we can do in our business, and we can actually execute it and not feel like we're not completing things, but we're also not feeling like we're overwhelmed with the things that we need to do. So it's great that you have all these ideas, but what we want to do now is we want to validate whether those ideas are actually going to get the outcomes that we want to get. So this is where the next part of the tool comes in, and it's called the validator. So if we scroll to the next part of this roadmap workbook that we've got here, we have this section here which is called the validator. And this is something that I developed to really help you determine whether or not the idea and the activity that you have is going to give you the outcome that you're looking for. So the way it works is we look at what lever it is that we want to grow. So we've got our levers here. Now the levers are the same as what we talked about a little bit earlier, which is conversion rate, average order value, traffic, returning customer rate, okay? So your AOV and your returning customer rate is effectively like your lifetime value. So we want to be doing activities that are going to move one of these levers or one of these metrics. We can also do activities that grow our database, get us back some time, or improve the profit in our business. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to run this through an example with you, okay? So let's just say one of the activities we want to do is we want to increase our conversion rate, okay? So we'll tick conversion rate on here. And all I want to say is, okay, what problem do we have right now? What do we want to achieve? So let's just say my conversion rate right now is 1%. My goal is I want to get it to say 1.25%, okay? Now then we move on to what I call the hypothesis. So what we want to do is we want to ask ourselves, if we've got a 1% conversion rate and we want it to be 1.25%, we want to hypothesize and say, well, what do we think is the problem? What do you think is holding us back? So if I think about conversion rates, one of the things that improve those is social proof and showing that other people have bought your product. So one of my hypotheses is that I don't have enough reviews on my store. So what I could do here is we can write in here that my hypothesis is not enough reviews. Okay. So now that I've identified that hypothesis, then I can say, well, what's my strategy that's going to help me solve this thing? So what I might do here is put in review incentives. Okay. So my thoughts are that if I put in review incentives, that's going to give me more reviews, which is going to give me a higher conversion rate. Okay. Do you see what we're doing there? So then what we can do is we're going to try and monetize what this means. So let's just say that I can increase my conversion rate by 0.25%. What would be my best case dollars number here? So let's just say I'm doing $1,000 a day and I increase my conversion rate by 0.25%. Would that mean that my sales go up by 250,000? Now, the math don't really math, but this is just thinking the best case scenario. But let's just say I only increase my conversion rate by 0.2%. Then my worst case scenario might be that well, let's just say it doesn't work. Let's do it that way. Then it means that things stay exactly the same, okay? The worst case scenario. So this strategy could actually be worth $250 extra a day to us. If we times that by, a year, that's going to be a fairly big number. So this makes us validate whether or not the idea that we're working on is actually worth the effort. Now, if we were to validate this and say, you know what, it's not a big enough thing, then we could scrap it and try something else. This is where it's really important to think about the metric and the finances and the outcome that are going to go with it. Now, let's just say this strategy is one that we want to go ahead with. Let's move on to the next stage. The next stage is we want to break it down into steps. So the first one is we want to install review platform if we don't have one at all. Okay. We want to determine offer. And my writing is actually really bad today. You know what they say, isn't it? Geniuses always have the messiest writing. I'll go with that. Determine offer. Then we need to set up offer. Create emails. Oh my gosh, this writing is so bad. But this might be the angle I'm on. And then start offer. Okay. And now the reason we break it into these steps is it becomes a lot easier to achieve. So if we just say that we need to amplify the reviews or get more reviews, it feels a little bit more overwhelming. If we then break it down into sort of 3 to 5 steps of the things that we need to do, what we can then do is just go through and every time we do it, we just tick it off. And it means that it becomes a lot more achievable, okay? So I want you to sort of now jot down the steps that you need to do to put this strategy into place. Once we've done that, and then we want to actually get this ball rolling. We've got the steps ready to go. So what are the actions that we need to take? Do we need to hire someone to do this for you? Or you can do it yourself, okay? That's the first thing you need to do. Or you might need to learn how to do it. Or you might need to set a time to do it, okay? So this is going to give you a number of different ways to get started. So now that we know how to validate something, what you're going to do is you're going to go through to your roadmap. You're going to have a look at all these strategies that you want to implement, these actions that you want to take. We're going to run these through the validator. We're going to work out of these strategies, which one is going to make you the most money, which one has the best case outcome, right? Then once we've done that, we've chosen that one and we're going to do that one first. Why are we going to do that one first? Because it's going to make you the most amount of money. Why wouldn't you do it that first? All right. So that's the way we're going to analyze, we're going to review, we're going to work out what actions we have, we're going to put in a plan just to get the outcome for the year. Now, this roadmap is definitely going to help you get the results that you want for the year. But if you did need a little bit of extra help, I run a company called the E-commerce Academy, where myself and a number of specialist coaches work one-on-one and mentor brands on growing their store. We implement strategies just like this. We help you understand which strategies that you need to do. We build out your roadmap, and our goal is to get you to $1 million plus per year. If that sounds like something you're interested in, I've got a link that you can apply to be mentored by me. Fill out that link, see if you are eligible. And if you are, we can jump on a call, we can jam about it and see how we can grow your store. Alternatively, if you just want to binge some of my videos, I'll put a couple up here that I think might be the right next videos for you to scale your e-commerce business.